Blinken is joining the White House, Germany, France, and others around the world condemning a conference in Iran. The people attending the conference are questioning whether the Holocaust actually happened. The government in Tehran is challenging one of history's most documented events, the Nazi extermination of 11 million people, including 6 million Jews. Rita Cosby joins me. And Rita, the people participating in this conference come even from the United States, correct?
They definitely do. Thanks, Contessa. That's right. David Duke is a former American politician and also a former leader of the KKK. He just spoke at this controversial conference, and he joins me right now live from Tehran. David, what are you doing in Iran? What are you doing at a conference which is basically debunking the Holocaust?
The conference is dedicated, as its organizers said, to freedom of speech. And the fact is that in Europe there are men and women sitting in prison simply for uttering their opinion. Researchers, academics, there were 67 academics, college professors, and other academics from all over the world who have differing opinions on the Holocaust. Some who may have mainstream opinions, some who have controversial opinions. But it's a shame and a disgrace that there are people in European countries in prison for voicing an opinion. David Irving is sitting in prison right now for 3 years for simply uttering his opinion about the Holocaust.
But David, I got to interrupt you because you're in Iran and you're in a country where they have jailed journalists, where they've closed newspapers, they've deported critics, where they have many people say doesn't have free speech. Isn't there some hypocrisy here?
Well, there you go. Well, there you go.
Well,
that's a perfect example. If you're going to condemn Iran for their activities about freedom of speech or other third world countries, why don't you condemn the activities of Europe who are suppressing European people? First, we better be concerned about our own European homelands and our own country. The United States of America sent Germa Rudolph and sent Ernst Sindel to Germany to certain prison simply for having an opinion. These people are nonviolent pacifists, for that matter. They don't advocate any sort of hate. They are simply researchers. But we don't have freedom of speech right now in Europe, and this conference is about breaking that taboo. And I agree with that conference.
Do you believe, then, David, do you believe the Holocaust happened?
We should be going to war against Iran.
Do you believe the Holocaust happened? Yes or no?
Ma'am, I don't think I can actually make a good decision about the Holocaust till I'm allowed to read and hear every point of view. How can we know the truth about any point of view? And there's two issues here.
David,
one is freedom of speech.
What do you say to all the historians? Now, David, why don't you defend? What do you say to all the historians who say 11 million people died? You're saying that was all made up?
Well, let me tell you something to you. People can say all sorts of things about historical events. The only way to get at the truth, the proper numbers, or any other aspects of any other historical event is to have free debate and free speech. And it's a crime against humanity to put someone into prison for speaking their conscience, for saying what they believe in a legitimate intellectual way. And that's precisely what's going on. That's what you should be concerned about. That's what the American media should be condemning. Not the fact this conference is allowing free speech on this issue. That's what they should be concerned about. America basically sent 2 Europeans to prison, to Europe, where they went to prison for uttering their opinions.
But do you understand, David, why so many people are so disgusted and find it so vile that all these people died, and you're basically saying, or that conference is basically saying,
if it's so obvious and so self-evident, all the aspects of the official Holocaust story, why then do you have to put people in prison to keep people from hearing their point of view? What do the Holocaust mainstream historians have to cover up? Look, if you want to, people that out there watching can listen to my speech on my website, davidduke.com, and read for themselves my opinions, and they can think about this issue intelligently. And that's how we must think about every issue, is by just going to the source and reading both sides.
Let me take you for what your word. If you're talking about free speech, are you going over to the Iranian government now and saying, look, what about these jailed journalists? Why not let journalists in? Why not let free speech? Are you saying the Iranian hostage crisis?
I would urge Iran, I would urge any country in the world to free people who are in any way restricted in their actions of freedom of speech. But again, it's like we're talking about the speck in somebody else's eye, and we're not looking at the beam in our own eye. Look, in Europe right now, you can criticize, you can condemn, you can doubt Jesus Christ. But if you doubt, and nothing happens to you, you might get your own weekly TV show. But if you doubt the Holocaust, you go to prison. This is a scandal. The Holocaust is almost a new religion for our times, and I believe the Holocaust is used to advance the Zionist, the extremist Jewish agenda, both in Israel and around the world.
But you understand
right now, I think they're using it to try to form a war with Iran. There are people who are not extremists who clearly say it happened. Clearly, 1 million people died. And let me this comment just came in to me, David. Hold on one second, David. This comment just came in. The president of Iran just said, just a short time ago, where you are there, said that the Zionist regime will soon be wiped out. Do you understand why that's so offensive to so much of the world? He didn't say that.
No, he did. I'll read you the quote.
In fact, I was there. I met. Ma'am, that's really a misquote. I was there. I met the man. I heard the words of my own ears, and I can provide tapes, I think, of the actual event. What he said is that just like the Soviet government is no more, that the Zionist government, a government that oppresses and has ethnically cleansed the Palestinian people, that commits torture, that's invaded Lebanon, that commits human rights violations, and that, by the way, has led America into the disaster of Iraq, because we're in Iraq, and America's in Iraq because the Jewish extremist neocons have brought us into Iraq.
And David, have you talked to Iran about
must be overturned just like the Soviet government was overturned.
And David,
go to my website,
you make a fair point. But on the other hand, have you said to the Iranian government, stop meddling into Iraq, stop meddling into another country as well?
I've asked some of the officials about some of those charges, and in fact I'm going to meet with the Iranian president privately very soon, and I'm going to address some of those questions. And even James Baker said that we need to increase a dialogue with both Iran and Syria. And I can tell you something, I have good relations, and I know the individuals and leaders of these countries, and I'd like to begin that dialogue. I think that Iran shouldn't be our enemy. Why should we be supporting Israel, which has violated every nuclear idea? They have nuclear weapons, chemical weapons, weapons of mass destruction. Iran has been a member of the Atomic Energy Inspection. And they've allowed inspections, and yet Israel allows none. We have a double standard because of the Jewish lobby and its power over the American government and much of the American media.
I got to interrupt you because time is out, and of course a lot of people would take a lot of issue with that, saying also that Iran, in fact, is also building nuclear weapons. And would take a lot of
they can see my facts at davidduke.com.
And I do hope you talk to that government there, too. Thank you very much.